Well, two targets of President-elect Donald Trump's wrath are among 20 people President Biden picked for one of the nation's highest civilian awards. The White House East Room was filled with boisterous applause as former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney received the Presidential Citizens Medal. She served as vice chair of the January 6th committee, alongside Democratic Congressman Benny Thompson, who led the committee and was also among those honored today. The ceremony comes just 18 days before Trump returns to the Oval Office. President Biden showing his gratitude and likely making a point on the way out.
Today, we celebrate a new group of Americans who dedicated their careers to serving our democracy in other essential ways. You are elected officials who served in difficult times with honor, decency, and ensure our democracy delivers.
My sources tonight are CNN political commentators S.E. Cupp and Bakari Sellers. Great to see you both. All right, Bakari, so here's what Trump had to say about Liz Cheney and the rest of the January 6th committee just last month. Let's listen.
I think those people committed a major crime,
Sir.
and Cheney was behind it. For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
So no evidence of any criminal wrongdoing, I need to note. But what do you think then now about President Biden giving them an award? Do you think that he's politicizing this?
Not at all. I mean, he's not politicizing it, but I do believe that instead of getting an award, they probably, probably need a pardon more than anything else. And the reason being is because we know that Donald Trump is vindictive. Donald Trump is someone who was twice impeached. And January 6th, regardless of the memory hole or the short kind of memory that Republicans have, January 6th was one of the worst days in American history, period, point blank. It simply was. And not to have the smooth transition of power, to watch someone who is an outgoing president egg this on, to not put a stop to it. I know that people are going to say that he said X, Y, and Z, but the fact of the matter is we had law enforcement officers who nearly lost their lives, law enforcement officers who were in the line of fire, law enforcement officers who gave everything they could on January 6th, all because of MAGA at the Capitol. And I think that's going to be a stain on this country's history. It may not be next week or the next week after that, but it's going to be a stain on this country's history for years to come.
S.E., to bring you in, Biden officials were considering preemptive pardons for certain Trump targets. That has not happened yet. Do you think it ever will?
I hope not. That seems to be not at all the point of presidential pardons. We seem to be very far from what presidential pardons were meant for. And that's not just on Biden. That was on Trump and many other presidents before. They seem now to be for, helping out favors for your friends and families and political supporters and to make political statements. So I hope she doesn't get a pardon because she didn't do anything wrong. She doesn't need to be pardoned. And again, this is so political. And I disagree with my friend Bakari. I think this medal and this ceremony was entirely political. Bakari is absolutely right. It's one of the darkest days in our history. Giving out medals doesn't seem to go with the tone of what that day meant. History will remember January 6th correctly, and Liz Cheney will be on the right side of it, and Trump and Republicans who defended him will be on the wrong side of that. I have no doubt. But we don't need to politicize this any further. And I feel like Liz Cheney is just useful for Democrats. And I have to remind people that if she ran for president in 2028, January 6th would be forgotten. Her integrity and character in this moment, in the moments that followed January 6th, would not matter for her. She would be a monster for Democrats, because if Mitt Romney told us anything, it's that you can be one of the most decent, kindest, honorable people in politics and still be called a monster, a sexist monster who was going to kill your dog, right? So it feels deeply disingenuous. It definitely feels political to me. And I like Liz Cheney. I am a fan. But this was an awful day. Let's not make and score political points and exploit it on our way out of office.
Bakari?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And I can't disagree with S.E. really. And I don't think this is a time where we're trying to necessarily disagree with each other about what would happen in 2028. because we're so far away from that. Democrats have to focus on what's going to happen in Virginia or New Jersey in 2025, right? So 2028 is so far away. Liz Cheney is someone who needs to be admired for her courage. But at the end of the day, I mean, to be respectful, I would never vote for Liz Cheney to be president of the United States or any primary ever, simply because our politics don't align. I mean, she is 10 times more conservative than Donald Trump would ever be. Like that is just a fact of that literally is a political fact. I mean, she is someone who represents conservatism. Her dad is Dick Cheney. We do not align politically. But one of the things we do align on, which is something that politics has gotten away from, is the simple fact that we want our country to be better than what it was yesterday. And we just have a different path on how to get there. Pam, let me tell you this. In South Carolina, I'm a Democrat, but I don't have a lot of successes politically here. Some of my best friends in the world are people like Tim Scott, right? I would give Tim Scott a kidney, but I would never vote for him. That is where we have to get our politics back to. Like, I respect Liz Cheney. I respect Tim Scott. I respect these individuals. Never would vote for them, but I respect them. And I think today was simply acknowledging Joe Biden, acknowledging the fact that we respect these individuals.
All right. Bakari Sellers, S.E. Cupp, always great to see both of you for that civil discussion. Appreciate it. Ahead, 18 days until he regains power. The latest details on the president-elect and his inner circle at Mar-a-Lago. Maggie Hay